Good day, everyone. My name is Mrs. Folorunso Alakija, and I'm the founder of the RoSF Foundation, a non-for-profit organization with the vision to provide help and succor to widows and orphans across Nigeria. Today, along with the rest of the world, we commemorate the International Widows Day. The United Nations observes 23rd June as International Widows Day since 2011. The objective is to draw attention to the voices and experiences of widows and to galvanize the unique support that they need. At the RoSF Foundation, we organize yearly programs on this day where we invite widows and stakeholders in government, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to engender support for the cause of widows in Nigeria. Over the years, we have contributed to raising the lot of widows through our advocacy, empowerment, and welfare activities. And we are glad to report that we have put smiles on the faces of our beneficiaries and changed their stories. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic and the restriction of gatherings imposed by the federal government in its effort to reduce the spread of the virus, this year, the program will be online via Zoom at 3 p.m. today, and you can join and be a part of it. This year, we'll be looking at a very pertinent topic titled Global Change, Widowhood and COVID-19, the Challenges and Opportunities. Let me share a few of my thoughts on the topic with you. The COVID-19 pandemic and world economies. The year 2020 has been a challenging one all over the world. The advent of the coronavirus pandemic and the shutdown measures implemented by different countries to restrict its spread in their domains resulted in a massive drop in the global economy. According to the June 2020 World Bank report on global economic prospects, it's forecasted that the global economy will shrink by 5.2% this year. This will represent the worst recession since the Second World War. Africa is also not left out of the economic devastation brought about by the coronavirus. The World Bank forecasts that the region is heading towards its first recession in 25 years and estimates that COVID-19 will cost the region between $37 billion and $79 billion in output losses for 2020. This is a result of the effect of the pandemic on the continent. And one of the ways it's effective on the continent is through key trading partners, the distribution to global travel, and the collapse in global commodity prices, particularly for oil and industrial metals. Then there's the report that further states that there are also growing concerns that the pandemic may cause a food security crisis in the region as border closures and trade restrictions disrupt trading in food and agricultural products. Now, coming home to Nigeria, our economy has experienced a major setback because of the collapse in crude oil prices, which contributes half of the nation's revenue due to the reduction in global demand for crude oil. Now, what's the impact of COVID-19 on businesses in Nigeria? Let's look at that. History has taught us that whenever there's a crisis in any society, whether economic, social, or health-related, they usually catalyze a change in the normal course of life in the society. In other words, it results in the emergence of a new way of life and of doing business. For example, during the Second World War, when there were shortages of men to work in the factories and offices, as most of the men were away at war, women who had erstwhile been housewives stepped in and a new norm was created. Before then, women stayed at home to care for the family. The same is true today. As a result of the lockdown, many businesses had to shut down their operations, with the exception of those carrying out essential services. The resultant effects were loss of business revenue and projected profits, and this cuts across both the formal and the informal sectors. As the adage says, necessity is the mother of invention. Despite all these challenges, it's not all bleak news, as some businesses have thrived during this same period. And then the examples are the telecommunications companies, internet service providers, online platform providers, like Zoom, for instance, delivery companies, etc. Several businesses have had to re-strategize and adapt to the new norms created by the pandemic to stay afloat, as well as meet the needs of their customers and stakeholders. They have gone online, employing the different internet applications to carry out their businesses. In fact, new businesses have also emerged, which have become huge money-generating avenues during this period. This is because the digital upgrade is one of the opportunities the pandemic has offered to all business endeavors. Therefore, any business desiring to thrive amidst this global change must be willing to leverage technology, as digital transformation is no longer optional but essential for businesses to grow. No sector is spared in this revolution. Truly, the COVID-19 era presents a new level playing field where anyone can rise and any business can emerge. So let's look at the unique challenges of widows in the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic. We recognize that the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic is not gender-based, neither is it gender-biased. However, widows who are among the most vulnerable groups in the world, being the sole providers for their homes, are mostly without the support structure provided by the extended family system, usually face enormous pressure in the face of economic crisis. In over a decade of working with widows, we have noticed that about 60% of them are largely engaged in informal work and other vulnerable forms of employment, like self-employment, in small subsistence businesses and domestic work, etc. Therefore, in view of the restriction measures directed by the government and closure of schools, these ones are more likely to experience a significant burden on their time, given their multiple care responsibilities, and this will likely lead to reductions in their business operating time. In addition to these, those who are cross-border traders and farmers are likely to suffer a decline in food and crop production, increases in food prices, and closed borders. However, I want to encourage you that whether you're operating as a micro, small, or medium enterprise business owner, irrespective of the challenges you are currently facing, there are always opportunities you can take advantage of during this season. You will just need to think out of the box and in some cases, venture into a new line of business. This afternoon, we have seasoned speakers who will discuss the challenges as well as the different business opportunities that you can engage in view of the new norm created by the COVID-19 pandemic. And I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to either grow your existing business or start a new venture. The details of the program will be communicated on this same page. Now let's look at our achievements in the last 6 months between December 2019 to date. 1. The Rose of Sharon Foundation Christmas Party 2019. As it is our tradition every December, we celebrated our annual Christmas party on 6 December 2019 at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex, as well as other parts of the nation. We had the pleasure of having the Grand Matron of the Foundation in the person of Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, the wife of the Governor of Lagos State, in our midst to celebrate with our widows and orphans at the Lagos event, and we had over 1,000 beneficiaries in attendance. The highlights of the party include A. Award ceremony and presentation of gifts. Beneficiaries of the foundation who had an outstanding academic performance during the year 2018-2019 academic year were presented with gifts and cash prizes for the first time in the history of the foundation. We had 2 students instead of 1 graduating with first-class honors degree. They are Miss Doyinsola Margaret Popola, first-class honors degree in accountancy, University of Lagos, and Miss Shoyode Esther Omolade, first-class honors degree in economics, Olabisi Onabanjo University. The foundation awarded both graduates with master's degree scholarships to study the course of their choice in any Nigerian university. Other beneficiaries who received awards and cash prizes were 3 students each from the OND and HND categories, 3 students from the secondary school categories, and 3 students from the primary school categories. In all, a total of 16 students were awarded cash prizes. B. Zonal Christmas Party and Welfare Visitations. The beneficiaries in all the other geopolitical zones were not left out of the Christmas festivities, as parties were also organized nationwide. Those who were not able to attend were visited at home and handed Christmas packs in the spirit of the season. 2. Enterprise Training and Development Program, ETDP. The foundation, in its bid to continuously empower its beneficiaries with business skills to help them to support their families, organized a skills acquisition training on 7th March 2020. The participants were trained on how to make different types of pastries and tiger nut drink. The Rose of Sharon Foundation partnered with Spectra Foods Industries, and a total of 80 participants were trained. 3. COVID-19 financial support. In its response to the hardship caused by the coronavirus pandemic across the world, the Rose of Sharon Foundation provided all its beneficiaries nationwide with 25,000 naira each as a palliative measure to ease the financial hardship experienced during the federal government's implemented lockdown to support them. 4. Widows Empowerment Program. The foundation, through its Widows Empowerment Program, WEP, is focused on lessening the plight of widows by giving them interest-free loans to start up their businesses. And I'm glad to report that all the applications for upgrade loans by our beneficiaries within the period under review were approved and the funds have been distributed to them. 5. Rose of Sharon Foundation Scholarship Program and School Visitations. The scholarship program is aimed at ensuring that the children of our widows, including our orphans, are given financial support in the form of scholarships up to the tertiary level for them to achieve their academic aspirations. Our representatives carry out school visits to monitor their progress and also ensure that the beneficiaries receive quality education in their different schools. To the glory of God, we are proud to report that the students are very happy and they are doing well in their academic pursuits. In the words of one of the beneficiaries, Miss Aisha Salisu Musa, precisely from Adamawa State, said, "I thank the Rose of Sharon Foundation for restoring my hope of returning back to school, as well as the encouragement given to me by the Rose of Sharon Foundation team." And in conclusion, we are truly grateful to God for the privilege of being a blessing to all our beneficiaries. We trust in God for the ability to continue to put smiles on the faces of these precious ones. We appreciate all the individuals and organizations who have partnered with us to ensure the success of all our programs. We are indeed truly grateful for their continual support. May God bless them and their organizations abundantly. We also like to thank all our friends in the media for their continuous support through the reporting and publicity of all our programs. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Amen.